Tonight, find out how you can get involved for care for the community.
Plus, students gather to honor a civil rights activist. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for January 20th, 2012. I'm Bailey Majors.
And I'm Courtney Steele. Thank you for joining us this evening. Even though Monday was the national celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday, Troy students spent last night remembering the slain civil rights leader and his legacy. Tiffany Lester has the story.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is considered by some to be one of the most historical figures in American history. And Thursday night, Troy University students gathered together to participate in Freshman Forum's annual ceremony to remember Dr. King, what he did for racism, and his words that changed lives.
The entire point of having this remembrance ceremony is to just give thanks for Martin Luther King and all of his work that he put not just to African Americans but to civil rights in general.
I felt that it was a necessity for me to come out and pay my respect to a great man who paved the way for a majority of how society is today.
12 representatives of predominantly African American organizations on Troy's campus quoted Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and they each lit a candle in honor of him.
Throughout the entire time, the congregation is really silent, and it's just in honor of him and kind of an appreciative thing for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
The last, but certainly not the least important of the quotes was none other than Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. This speech was the favorite part of the ceremony for some of the students who attended, and not just because of the great man that said it, but because of what it meant for society.
My favorite part would probably have to be Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. It's pretty traditional. Every quote that they do is different each year, but that quote stays the same, and the message is just as powerful as when I first heard it.
It's a speech that's really profound. It was profound in 1963 when he read the speech, but it's even more profound today because all those things that he had in there have almost come to pass.
One thing that I think holds true is that all men really are created equal, and we do live in a very racist state, and I mean it's something that we're still recovering from even these days, but I think that the leaps and bounds we've taken, in the past 50 years is amazing.
Tiffany Lester, TrojanVision News.
This was the 12th year Freshman Forum held the MLK Remembrance Ceremony.
Last semester, Troy students participated in the nationwide Care for the Community Day of Service. Tomorrow, volunteers will be in action again, so if you missed out last time, you have another chance to get involved. Saturday marks the second Care for the Community Day of Service at Troy University this year. Last semester, students volunteered in honor of the September 11th attacks, and this semester, students are contributing to another cause.
8:30 a.m. in the Trojan Center Theater, we're gathering to participate in the Martin Luther King Day of Service. People around the country gather to do service in remembrance of Dr. King and make a difference in their community.
Anyone interested in participating will be given the option of choosing to volunteer on 7 different sites. Some include Save a Life, the Boys and Girls Club, and Habitat for Humanity. Seelan said he thought it was important to give back to the community.
Part of being citizen of the city of Troy, citizen of Troy University, is giving back. This is an opportunity to do that and actually participate in making a difference and contributing to some positive changes.
Seelan went on to say that with the 7 different locations that need volunteers, anyone could find something that they are interested in.
There's a little something for everybody and some different ways that you can make a difference.
Once again, if you would like to participate in Care for the Community, be sure to be at the Trojan Center Theater at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Transportation to and from the volunteer sites will be provided. Johnson Center for Political Economy held a lecture Thursday night to enlighten Troy students about free trade and globalization.
That's right, Bailey. This is one of many ways the center is getting Troy involved with the nation's economy. Deatra Montgomery has the details.
Students to become more involved with economics, the Johnson Center for Political Economy hosted a special lecture for the student body and public in Bibb Graves Thursday night.
The Johnson Center for Political Economy is a free market center committed to economic education here at Troy University. We think that understanding economics is very important for students and very important for the world more generally.
Host speaker Lawrence Reed, president of the Foundation for Economic Education, discussed on matters about free globalization globalization, and trade, hoping all gain more understanding from the lecture.
I hope people came away tonight understanding better how trade happens, why it should be largely left alone, why free trade is better than government imposing barriers like tariffs and subsidies and quotas on that restrict trade.
The crowd's presence was a major encouraging factor for the hosting party, as well as with some students leaving with new perspectives of trading.
It was a really good turnout, and it's so exciting. This is our first year doing this, and students are just really getting into it and coming out in very large numbers.
Well, he did kind of set me straight on the free market stuff, because now I'm sort of a little bit hesitant to trade with like some of the countries we sort of see as bad. And China, maybe we should slow down and trade with them. But I'm just he's totally right, because if they're just gonna give us all this basically free stuff, then we should take it.
First, free trade and globalization seems far from understanding. However, through this lecture, students are one step closer of understanding our nation's economy. This is Deatra Montgomery with TrojanVision News.
The next event will be a dedication at the Johnson Center on February 10th with guest speaker Arthur Brooks.
And now taking a look at news from around the state, authorities say more than 20 students have been taken to the hospitals after a school bus overturned in the southeast Alabama town of Goshen. The Pike County Schools Superintendent says the injuries from this morning's accident do not appear to be life-threatening.
Alabama's unemployment rate has taken another big drop. Governor Robert Bentley said today the rate declined from 8.7% in November to 8.1% in December. Alabama's rate has now fallen below the national rate of 8.5%.
Alabama Governor Robert Bentley will sign a proclamation honoring the Tuskegee Airmen for their heroism during World War II. Bentley plans to sign the proclamation today, the same day a movie, Red Tails, about the heroics of the unit of black airmen during World War II is being released.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, Nevada firefighters are trying to contain a fast-moving brush fire that has destroyed at least 24 homes in the Reno area. We'll have more on that after the break.
And Danielle Percival will be in with the details of the Trojan basketball team's midweek doubleheader when she joins us with sports.
A 3-game home losing streak was on the line. Were the Trojans able to pull off the victory? I'm Danielle Percival, and I'll have that story coming up in sports.
The first must-have app of 2012, University app, available at the iTunes App Store, puts information and interaction with Troy University at your fingertips, even when you're a student, a faculty or staff member, alumni, or a friend of Troy University. You'll find the Troy app indispensable. Students can work on online classes and get information about courses. Plus, there are campus maps, a staff directory with email and phone numbers, information about athletics, news, and much more. Get it today. The Troy University app for iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch.
All right, guys, we gotta be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around in circles, flap my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros. We're eating right, too.
We fuel up
To play 60!
Your school doesn't have a program? Be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Bailey Majors at the Global News Desk. Bailey?
Thanks, Courtney. Firefighters battling a fast-moving brush fire in Nevada are making progress. The fire started Thursday and forced 10,000 people to evacuate. The blaze is blamed for at least one death. But Gad Shaban reports from Reno.
The Caniso family still doesn't know if their home near Reno, Nevada was destroyed. Janice Caniso evacuated as the flames swept through the lot next door.
It just came from nowhere.
They're among more than 2,000 people still not allowed back in their homes.
What's this waiting game like?
My stomach's a mess.
The fast-moving wildfire has destroyed more than 24 houses, but firefighters are making progress and have the blaze about 50% contained.
Our primary focus today is extinguishing hotspots and securing the perimeter.
Flames broke out on Thursday, and heavy winds caused them to spread quickly. The last few months have been unusually dry in Reno. In fact, the city set a record this winter, 56 days without any precipitation.
The grass is still extremely dry, and essentially we're still in August conditions here.
but it is raining lightly now, and heavy rain could be on the way. That should help douse the flames, but with all the charred land, it also increases the chances of flooding. Begad Shaban, CBS News, Reno, Nevada.
The pivotal South Carolina primary is just hours away, and attacks are flying in every direction on the campaign trail. Rick Santorum and Ron Paul are arguing that they are still in the contest, while the polls show a two-man race between Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney. Danielle Nottingham reports from Charleston, South Carolina.
You guys are great to be out here.
Mitt Romney dodged raindrops on his last day of campaigning before Saturday's South Carolina primary. He promised supporters brighter days ahead if he wins.
I'm going to make sure the next generation has an even more prosperous future than the generation I've enjoyed. I love this country. I love you for being out here in the rain.
Once the clear frontrunner here, Mitt Romney is now neck and neck with Newt Gingrich. But that was before Gingrich's ex-wife told media that her former husband wanted an open marriage. Gingrich scored points with the audience at Thursday's debate with his response.
The story is false. Every personal friend I have who knew us in that period says the story was false.
Gingrich canceled his first appearance Friday. His campaign said the crowd was too small and it allowed him to spend more time visiting a children's hospital. Ron Paul did appear, saying the debates are helping his campaign.
Debates have always been very helpful in promoting what I've been talking about on sound economic policy, a changed foreign policy.
Rick Santorum continues to push himself as the only candidate for conservative voters, arguing both Romney and Gingrich have supported health care plans that resemble President Obama's.
Once the government has your health, they have your pocketbook and everything else that comes with it. And we are no longer free.
Thanks, you guys.
The four candidates have just hours left to sway voters. A recent poll suggests about half have yet to make up their minds. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Charleston, South Carolina.
Women who have the breast cancer gene are 50 to 80% more likely to develop the disease. There's also a good chance they could pass the gene on to their children. The question is, would you tell your child you were a carrier? Allison Harleman reports.
Laura McSpirit Greer has the BRCA gene, which puts her at very high risk for breast cancer. She's most worried about what that means for her 14-year-old daughter, Summer.
That she's going to inherit the gene and have to go through what I had to go through.
After her twin sister, aunt, and cousin developed breast cancer, Laura chose to have her breasts and ovaries removed. She says she's never questioned letting her daughter know about her genetics.
I needed to tell my daughter as well that she could be, possibly have the gene.
A new study finds Laura did what most parents do. Researchers in Philadelphia looked at more than 253 parents who had genetic breast cancer testing and found that 66% shared their results with their kids.
And some of the children were quite young at the time that they received this information from their parents.
There's a 50-50 chance women with the BRCA gene mutation will pass it on to their children. Most doctors don't want to test those children until they're in their 20s.
It's not meaningful for the child, so we shouldn't subject the child to something that won't be constructive for them.
Summer plans to be tested when she's older.
It might worry me if I know that I have it, but I would rather have the knowledge that I can help save myself.
Now that doctors can isolate these genes, this mother and daughter are hoping scientists will find a way to silence them. Allison Harmelin for CBS News in Rivervale, New Jersey.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, including who is giving support to the captain of the wrecked cruise liner in Italy, you can tune into TrojanVision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Courtney.
Thanks, Bailey. And now we talk to Danielle Percival for a little bit of sports. So, Danielle, both the men's and women's basketball team were at home last night for a midweek doubleheader.
That's right. Both teams were in action, though probably not the results most Trojan fans were hoping for, but let's get into the details of the games. Trojan fans in Sartain Hall last night were hoping the men's basketball team would be able to break a 3-game home losing streak against Florida Atlantic. And in the first 5 minutes of the game, it seemed promising. And just like that, the Trojans were up early on Florida Atlantic. But a 30-5 run in the first half by the Owls proved to be too much for the Trojans to come back from, as FAU won 88-67. Troy was looking to bounce back from a below-average shooting performance from behind the arc against South Alabama and got hot from three-point range early, but with 7 minutes to go in the first half, the Trojans lost the lead and were unable to fight back. Head coach Don Maestri said it's important for this team to keep their heads up.
It was disappointing, probably frustrating for our players, and things are just not going our way right now. We're going to have to keep searching for answers. I don't think you can duck your head and start feeling sorry for yourself. I think you got to try to find out how to get out of this.
In an attempt to get out of this slump, Coach Maestri tried something new in Thursday night's game. It was a new starting five for the Trojans, but the magic number was 13, as the Trojans were up by 13 at the start of the game, but down by 13 at the half.
We kind of got what we wanted when we started a new group. They got off to a good start, and then for whatever reason, when this other team got a little hot, we couldn't answer.
Once you go cold like we did, we got to find a way to get better shots, not settling so much from the outside. We open up hot, and that's all fun and games. It's all great when that happens, but when you start missing 7, 8, 9 in a row, you got to figure out a way to do something else, and we just didn't tonight.
The Trojans are now on a 4-game home losing streak, and Coach Maestri knows his team will have to play better basketball to pick up a win on Saturday.
We haven't played really good basketball consistently for a while. We've played it in little 4 or 5 minute stretches like we did tonight to start the game off with, but we just have not been consistent, and that's something that we have to work on.
Got to stop this losing streak, and it's what better time to stop it than Saturday. We have to find a way to come out here and get a big win at home.
The Trojans will be finishing off a 3-game homestand tomorrow night, taking on Louisiana Monroe. The Warhawks, like Troy, only have 1 victory in conference play. So the battle for that second conference win will be tomorrow night at 7:30 in Sartain Hall. And earlier in the night, the women had their own troubles with FAU last night, losing by 20 points to the visiting Owls. Troy extended their losing streak to 8 with the 64-44 loss to the Owls Thursday night in the first game of a Trojan doubleheader with the men. Junior Sarah McCapian led the Trojans in scoring for the first time this season, recording 15 total points coming off the bench. D'Angela Sword led the team in rebounds, recording 10 and tying her season best with 4 assists. The Trojans now turn their attention to Louisiana Monroe, who will visit Sartain Hall tomorrow evening. Tip-off against the Warhawks is set for 5:15 in Sartain Hall. The men's and women's tennis teams got into action last weekend, and another sport will be starting their schedule tomorrow. The track and field team will be traveling to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where Middle Tennessee will be playing host to the Blue Raider Invitational. This will be an indoor competition, and the events are set to begin at 11 Saturday morning. And our weekly sports show, Trojan Sports Now, is back for the spring semester. And here's Jonathan Sellers with a look at this week's show.
Coming up tonight on Trojan Sports Now, we have an interview with a new member of the Troy Athletics family. Tune in to find out more about Troy's new Director of Media Relations. Plus, a look at some former Trojans in the NFL playoffs. All that and more tonight on Trojan Sports Now.
And Trojan Sports Now airs tonight at 7 and 11. So, the basketball teams weren't able to pick up victories last night against Florida Atlantic. Hopefully they have better luck tomorrow against Louisiana Monroe. And to stay updated on everything that's going on Trojan Sports, like Jonathan was just saying, we'll have Trojan Sports Now coming up on the air tonight at 7 and 11, so make sure to tune in.
We will. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, Aaron Taylor finds out how students can volunteer throughout the community in today's Trojan Talk.
Plus, the rain returned as the week comes to an end. Is the weekend going to bring the warmer weather and the sunny skies that we'd like to see? Tiffany?
I sure hope so, but I don't think we'll be seeing any of that rain go away anytime soon. I'll let you know next in weather.
At the heart of what we do in the College of Business is care for the student.
It's a personal thing with the students. We feel like the students are our most important asset, our most important products.
I have never been anywhere where I've known so many students on first name basis. They stop by socially to talk to.
So we understand who our students are, and we're trying to help them be better in their areas of professional work.
My colleagues and I work together to create programs that our students need.
What we try to do at Troy University is provide an experience to students that not only provide the curriculum that allows them to be successful in the business world, but we also try to expand their horizons to reach greater opportunities that maybe they didn't think they were capable of before.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, You're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Tiffany Lesser joins us with a look at weather.
So Tiffany, we've kind of had a few rainy days this week on and off, but today it felt like, it was pretty rainy. Can we expect the rain around this weekend?
It did rain quite a bit today, and last night I woke up late at night and heard the rain. And we will be seeing a little bit more of that as we go into the weekend, a lot more actually. And then as we get into next week, hopefully it'll go away, and I'll get into that in just right now. First, let's take a look at our TrojanVision campus snapshot. It is dark outside, mostly cloudy. As you look at the beautiful Troy University Bibb Graves Quad, as we look at the current conditions, we see that the skies are mostly cloudy. Temperature of 67 degrees, dew point 64, humidity 88%, winds coming from the south at 10 miles per hour. As we take a look at today's stats, the high was about 67 with a low of 59 degrees. We did see about 0.25 inches of rain. The sun will rise at 6:43 in the morning and is set to set at 5:07 tonight. As we take a look at temperature from around the state, we see that we're starting in Huntsville with a high 58, and then going into Troy and Dothan with a 68. So it's about 10-degree difference throughout the state of Alabama. And around the southeast, we see those temperatures varying still. Florida seeing low 70s, and the Carolinas seeing those low to high 50s. As you get into Tennessee, they're seeing the 50s, and as you look towards Louisiana, Oklahoma, they're seeing 47, 49. As we stretch across the United States, they're seeing drastic cold in their areas, 10 degrees, 7 degrees. As you go to California, they're seeing those 40 degrees. Current surface map, the reason we'll be seeing some rain later on is the stationary front is coming in through our area, bringing this low pressure system right above us, the cold front, and it will be bringing in that rain that we'll be seeing later on today and for the rest of the weekend. For the precipitation forecast over the next 48 hours, as I said, throughout the southeast, we'll be seeing those about 30% chance of rain going into 50% chance of rain tomorrow. For Saturday, that rain in our area will still stay around, and as you get into the eastern coast, they'll be seeing a mixture of snow and ice. And on the western portion of the United States and the Rockies, they're seeing a crazy mixture of snow, rain, wind, severe weather. And on Sunday, that mixture will spread out across the United States and just cover the majority of the United States with that wind and snow mixture. And in our area, that rain will still be here on Sunday, so be aware of that if you're traveling on Sunday over the weekend. And on Monday, the rain will still be here, but it will be heading northeastern as it moves out of our area with that cold front. And Tuesday, it should be gone out of our area. But for tonight's forecast, we'll be seeing early showers, about a 30% chance of rain, and cloudy for the rest of the night. Winds coming from the south at 9 miles per hour with a low of 59. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms with a high of 73. And for the class outlook, make sure you have your jacket and your rain boots because you will be needing those all day tomorrow, as the temperature will be about 60 to 67 degrees. And as you get later into the afternoon, you want to stay inside. Take the opportunity to visit the library, study over the weekend, and just enjoy the time to study. And as we take a look at our 4-day forecast, we'll be seeing 30% chance, 50% chance tomorrow, 30% chance Sunday and Monday, the high 73, low 59, high 73 on Sunday, and then the temperatures will drop back. So Bailey, Courtney, even though the rain is in our area, it'll be a high of 73 over the weekend, and then as the rain goes away, those temperatures will go back down to the low to mid 60s. So that's a crazy southeastern weather.
It is. At least we'll have a few warm temperatures into the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thanks.